Hey everyone, I am back. Typically, we're on Thursday nights, but I am going to be in Hattiesburg tomorrow night. We are doing a special screening of Soul Damage with the latest of Delta Sigma Theta, the alumni chapter there in Hattiesburg. So if you're near the USM area, come check us out. I put the times up later. I don't quite know what the times are at the moment, but I think it's early, like 6 or 7. So definitely looking forward to that. Feels a little different coming in on a Wednesday, but still have the same nerves, same things that, little fears and stuff. And we've had a great week so far. Today is Wednesday. Done a lot of work, making a lot of progressions on fe- um, the, the festival. Not our festival, but I'm going to tell you more about a festival that we're assisting with later. But we've made a lot of progress dealing with the project, getting Short TV, Film Flow 7, first to market, all those things done. But we will talk about it in a minute. Let's go. All right. So, where are we on this road, man? It's starting to get real. We met with IP attorneys, and now they're talking about paying some money. And it has me nervous because you're about to spend a bunch of money. You're not even sure if it's going to work. But that's the journey, right? The exciting part is like, is this going to work? How's this going to work? And in my heart, I know it's going to work. I just don't know how it's going to work. I don't know if this is the move. I do not know if this is the relationship. And sometimes that kind of rattles me a little bit because we all want a sure thing, right? And it's a sure thing in my heart that ultimately it will happen, but I'm not sure if these are the steps or these are the people or these are the players. So had a interesting meeting with an IP attorney in North Carolina who kind of walked us through how to get the final patent. And we also talked to an IP service today, and it's not monopoly money anymore. So now when I make this decision, there are real consequences, not just me losing time. It is me possibly taking a real risk. And I don't know how I feel about that sometimes. Sometimes I feel good about it, and sometimes those little doubts creep in. You start second guessing yourself, like, should I really do this? But I'm gonna do it. I don't have a choice. I'm gonna do it, and we're gonna see what happens. But I believe in my heart that even though I don't know if this next step is going to be the successful step, in my heart I know that this is going to work. So, but tonight we're going to talk about how to access your superpower of 7 degree agency, and it's my new business. 7 degree agency, and Maximus Right. This is a residence media company, and also it deals with data intelligence. It's kind of like the sales arm for SOAR TV, but also the algorithm that is powering the whole thing. This is a company that manages this. This is how we do films. This is how we do a lot of stuff, and you'll learn that later. But more importantly, what this is about is how did I get to this name, and what does it have to do with you, and what does it have to do about what we're talking about tonight? Uh, Everyone has heard the term 6 degrees of separation. And if you haven't, it is the belief that we can get in contact with anyone in the world between 6 people. Within 6 people, we are contacted to anyone, whether it's presidents or superstars or athletes. Between someone and 5 other people, we should be able to make a contact with them. And when I start thinking about the term, I say, 6 degrees separation sounds such like a negative term. It seems like separation seems negative or feels negative. And I say, why don't we have another term like 7 degrees of connection? And that's when my inner being spoke to me and said, that's it. You finally realizing what's missing. You're missing the 7th degree. And as I kept meditating on it, I'm like, what am I missing? What am I missing? And I realized, and this has transformed my life, the greatest relationship I was missing the greatest connection that I was missing was the one with myself. I had great connections with my kids, great connection with my family, but I did not have a great connection with myself. I did not have a great relationship with myself. The concept was so foreign to me, I didn't even realize that my inner being could not trust me. That was like the most foreign concept I had ever heard. I didn't think that it was like a real relationship, like I could have a real relationship with myself. Like it started, the little breadcrumbs started to kind of hit in my mind when I went to a dermatologist. I had developed this brown, it wasn't a rash, but it was a brown discoloration on one of my calves. And when I went to the dermatologist said, your skin is angry with you. And I always thought that was really interesting. I'm like, how in the world can my skin be angry with me? I know that it can be irritated. I know it can be inflamed. But she said that your skin is angry. And then I had another moment when I was in the gym. I was working out the day before. I'm lifting heavy. I mean, the weight is moving, and then the next day it's like I could barely do anything. And I got a sense that my body was not with me. It was like it wasn't. It was like it was fighting against me in this moment. And I didn't understand then that my body was trying to help me to prevent myself from hurting myself. Because what I was really good at was ignoring how I felt and just pushing through, just forcing things to happen and not realizing that I'm creating greater damage because my body has an intelligence of its own. So this, I didn't get it right away, but as time went on, I started to realize and understood and discovered that your body speaks a language. It's called interoception. So let me see if I can pull the banner up here to let you see what interoception is. Interoception is the resonant language of the body. And before you start thinking we're getting too far out here, your body does speak, and I'll prove it to you. That feeling, that pain in your stomach, who let you knew that was hunger? That dry feeling in the back of your throat, who told you that mean you were thirsty? Our bodies are always speaking to us. But what we don't understand that is not we don't understand the language in which it speaks. And what I quickly started to find out is that pain is the language of the body. Irritation is the language of the body. Inflammation is the language of the body. These are languages telling you that you're doing something wrong or that you're doing something that you should stop. But as I continue to research and learn even more, I come to find out that it's even a greater knowledge base than that. That the body has an intelligence of its own. Like when they start talking about our stomach, the stomach is considered the second brain because I can't tell you how many neurons, but there are vastly so many neurons that it has enough to have its own intelligence core in your stomach. And when I tell you that your body is one of the greatest gifts that God has ever made, that it can heal itself, that it talks to you, that it guides you, it leads you, it directs you, that it is truly something of wonder that God has made. And when we forsake that body and don't listen, we're only doing abuse and harm to ourselves. Um, I want to pull up a video real quick, and this is a video, a TED Talk where a lady is talking about interoception and talking about how it is our superpower. And I'm gonna piggyback off some of the stuff she says, and then we're gonna kind of talk about, try to help you discover some of your own interoception um, tonight, which is gonna be interesting because I'm not gonna be able to see you, but hopefully you'll make comments over in the comment section, and we'll see how it works. Okay, but check this out.
Helps us by shaping our emotions and our thought process. Most of us think that emotions start here in our thinking brain. What if I told you that emotion really starts here in our physical bodies? And that neuroscientists are trying to understand the way our brain uses physical sensations as clues about the emotions we're feeling. We intuitively know that emotion and physical sensations are tied together. We see this in the language we already use about emotions. My heart skipped a beat. I have a lump in my throat. I have butterflies in my stomach. We already have language that pairs sensation and emotion. Different emotions produce different sensations. Anger feels different than joy. Frustration feels different than anxiety. And we're meant to be able to pick up these subtle differences or not so subtle differences sometimes. And they give us information about the emotion that we're feeling.
So I'm going to piggyback off of some of that real quick. When you start thinking about fear, you start thinking about anger. Where does anger show up in your body? A lot of times when you are angry, you feel it in a certain part of your body. When you're afraid, you feel fear in a certain part of your body. And if you pay attention, it's very consistent. Those pains, those feelings, those sensations are very consistent. And if you pay attention to it, you'll see that it's starting to happen in the same place. So let's try something real quick. Right now, because you're probably not paying attention to your body, you don't realize that your jaw may be tight, your stomach, you might be holding your stomach, your glutes might be tight, that you don't realize that you're in a brace mode. And if you would, just take a deep breath and just see if you can relax. If you can relax any of those parts of your body. The fact that we are not really aware of what's happening with us, our body is giving us signals to let us know where we are. And we've been trying to just think our way out instead of realizing that interoception is a way that the body is trying to direct us towards everything that we want. This is something that I learned a while ago that blew my mind. If I wanted to know the truth about something, I could always realize how my body responded. If my body relaxed when I asked it a question like, should I take this trip or not? And my body relaxed, I knew it was safe to go. But if my body tensed up, I knew it was something that I should be cautious about. And I'm trying to tell you, I don't want you to take my word for it. I just want you to start paying more attention to yourself. I want you to start building a better relationship with your body because your body is like a GPS system that will connect you to everything that you have ever wanted and ever dreamed of if you can get into a relationship with it. If you can start realizing that you and your body are not the enemy and that you all need to trust one another. This is how the patterns start coming. Because once I started to build a relationship with my body, I started slipping out of the sympathetic nervous system into the parasympathetic nervous system. My vagus nerve started to relax and my brain opened up, and now I was in receptive mode. So I could receive insight that I was not receiving before. So the more you're in line, and so when I first started doing this, I started talking about, well, what are we in alignment with? We're trying to get in alignment with ourselves. But we have worked so hard to ignore the system that God gave us from the beginning that is encoded with everything that you should have and want in this life. I mean, the body is also known as the subconscious mind. There are some studies saying that this is the subconscious mind. And there's a book that I recommend everyone to read called The Body Keeps Score. The Body Keeps Score, it talks about how we deal with trauma and how they talk about the body doesn't forget anything. It holds every trauma in our body. So these involuntary actions that we're having when things come up, it is because the body has now remembered something. And now we have to go through the process of rewiring ourselves so we don't keep creating the same mistakes over and over again. So when I started thinking about 7-degree agency, when I started really getting in connection with myself, since I was not in fight or flight, my receptors, my receptive body opened up so much that now I could think a lot faster. I remember as I continued to work on this and I started really committing to the process of building a relationship with myself and strengthening that relationship, the people around me started saying that I was getting smarter. I had some folks, some of my crazy friends, they're like, look, you're not this smart. And it wasn't because I had something that I didn't have before. It was because I was in so much fear. Well, I was always in fight or flight and I was so tense that my system could not function the way that it was supposed to. The other thing that I talked about with my family is I don't have pain anymore. I rarely have pains. When I have pains, there's something wrong. I realized that those pain was also my body's talking to me. I also realized that's interoception. It is sending me a message. And when I would sit and meditate and listen and ask my body, what is it that you're trying to tell me? The answers will come. I'm a little hesitant. I'm a little hesitant talking about it because it sounds so spooky, but I have science to back this up. So we're going to listen a little more to this about interoception.
Particularly for the challenging emotions like anxiety or frustration, we're meant to use these cues and physical sensations as information that helps us know what's going on so that we can practice emotional regulation tools. We can do something to manage this state that we're experiencing. And interoception doesn't just help us with our own emotion, it also helps us pick up and experience the emotions of others, something we call empathy. This ability to feel what other people are feeling. And interoception is one of the ways that we pick up and share emotions.
So when we start talking about interoception, it is resonance within you. When we start talking about empathy, it is resonance with others. The more I got at peace with myself, the more I learned to appreciate me, the more I learned to love me, the better all my relationships got. Because the frequency that I'm emitting now is a frequency of peace. It's not one of anxiety. It's not one of need. It's not one of desperation. It's been magical. That's the only way I can explain it. That's why, even though I go through this fear and I go through this uncertainty, because I keep trying to build this relationship with me, it is taking the loneliness that I would typically have away. It is now realizing that I am not in this by myself, that, hey, I am all aboard. I used to hear people say this, and I never understood what they said. They say, I enjoy my company. That was one of the most foreign things I had ever heard in my life. It made no sense to me. But the more that I surrender, the more that I get in touch with me, the more that I have a relationship with me, I enjoy my company. And also this, the more my confidence is rising because I'm not at war with me anymore. I am looking out for me. Your body is going to do whatever it needs to do to protect itself, even if it needs to protect itself from you, right? When you go on these crash diets and you don't eat like you're supposed to, the body then holds on to fat because they know you're not going to eat. They know you're not going to eat like you're supposed to. So they're going to hold on to it. That same way I was in the gym, I was overdoing it. And what my body did was, I'm not going to give you as much energy. I'm not going to give you as much strength to keep doing this to hurt us. What's the flip side of it? Flip side of that is that when your body can now trust you, your body say, okay, I'm going to give you extra. I'm going to reward this action. I see what you're doing. I am all in. Sometimes that subtle difference, those certain degrees are the difference between success and failure. And as I commit to building a better relationship with myself, I'm seeing the benefits undoubtedly because now everything is syncing. The synchronicity is syncing because there's synchronicity inside of me. There is peace inside of me. There is joy inside of me. And if there's joy inside of me, then that joy is going to be exuded outward. Les Brown said something that always stuck with me. He had a quote. He said, if there's no enemy within, the enemy without can do you no harm. And that is a true saying. That is a true saying. As I continue to build a better relationship with me, the less and less I fear about what other people are going to do. The less and less I fear whether if this person is coming in my life for a good reason or a bad reason. Because when we have trust issues with people, it really comes down to the fact that we really don't trust ourselves. And I was that person. I didn't trust me. I didn't know how stuff was going to happen. And when we look at that's why I named it 7-degree agency. I didn't know what agency was a couple of years ago. So let me see. I pulled the definition up here. Let me see if I can pull it up. Oh, maybe it's in my banners. Okay. Agency is the capacity to act intentionally, making choice and influence one's own life and circumstances. I did not feel like I was in control of what happened to me. That was the lack of agency. I felt that whatever was going to happen to me was just going to happen to me, and I was going to have to play defense and try to get it out, try to work myself around it. Whether it was relationships, I feel like the girl was going to have to choose me, and she was going to tell us that we were together, and that's pretty much how my life went. I mean, for the most of my from high school until my late adult life, I think I probably only asked one girl out, maybe. Because basically, I feel like, well, if she like me, then I better go and go with it. I did not feel that I was in control. I felt like God was playing some cruel game with my life. Like he was just going to throw stuff at me and just kind of see how do I respond to it. But that's not the case. I realized that agency is not something that is just mine or yours. It is something that can be developed. So 7 degree agency was me now realizing that as I committed to building a better relationship with myself, it was going to now flow out to everything else. Um, Felicia Rashad, I wish I had pulled up this video. I wish I pulled this video up to show you all, but I think about it now. She asked a girl, is there anything that you believe in? And the girl said she believed in God. And she said, well, that's good. She said, but is it impossible to believe in God and not believe in yourself? She said, because if God is omnipresent, then that presence is inside of you. Your presence is that presence that God is. And she went on and did a much better job of what I'm doing right now to explain that. But she said, but when you start to really think and really start to believe that the presence of God is inside of you, that life in you is what God gave you, and you start thinking about that and you really start dwelling, say it's impossible. It is impossible to continue to be the same. It is impossible to continue to doubt who you are and your abilities. It is impossible to do that. And I'm like, and when I heard it, it shook me because that's the path that I'm on. That's the path that I'm trying to show you. I'm living out in front of everyone saying, hey, I'm going to create this tech company. I'm going to create this tech company. And not only am I going to create this tech company, we're going to be successful at it because I am not so much believing in what I can do as a person, but I am believing in that presence that's in me and that presence that is on me and that presence that told me to do this in the first place. And I am okay with looking bad along the way and not making sense. Okay, Esther says she sent it. Oh, I don't know how I'm gonna show it because you sent it to by text and I'm on my computer. Oh, let's see here. Let's see. Hmm. Oh, Esther, I don't know. I don't know if you can put it in the comment section so people can see it. Yeah, put it in the comment section if possible, and let people take a look at it as they can because I don't know how to do it from this point. But that commitment to me, making myself a priority, that became my superpower. And now I started to realize that it wasn't my talents. It wasn't that I didn't have good enough talents. It was that my frequency was off because I was not in alignment with me. I was not in alignment with who I am supposed to be. And part of the reason that I was off was because I didn't know how to treat me. I didn't know how to treat me. I didn't know how to respect myself. I didn't know how to do those things. And that's what agency is doing for me. That's what me creating this type of relationship with myself is doing. And that is why it is so important that you do the same thing. If you are looking for your life to take off, the first relationship you're going to have to repair is the one with yourself. You're going to have to start learning interoception. You're going to have to start learning that your body is talking to you. When you're feeling that need to go to sleep, then you need to go to sleep because your body is not just doing it. Your body is trying to take care of you. You need to go to sleep. When you feel that time for hunger, you need to do it because when you keep ignoring your body now fights back. Not only does it fight back, it doesn't trust you. And it will start to sabotage what you're trying to accomplish, those things that you're trying to do. And I implore you to really focus on building a relationship with yourself. I implore you to start listening to your body. Those tensions that you have in your body is there for a reason. You need to stop paying attention. You need to do whatever you can to regulate. When we started talking about 1, 2, 3 manifest last week, you need to do that with every tension and pain that you have in your body. When you start feeling this tension and this fear come up, you need to stop and say, hey, what is this? That saying, what is this? And you start saying, oh, I'm scared. That's interoception. Your body is speaking to you. Your body is making these things known to you about what's going on with you. And I implore you, I implore you so much. This will change your life. And what I'm grateful for, you few people that are listening and watching this tonight, when we come back and this happens, I want us to come back to this date, Jeremiah's birthday, October 8th, and you start saying, he said that this was the key. This was the secret sauce. This is the superpower that we need. It's agency, 7-degree agency, building that relationship with yourself. And and I know it's not popular because we have been conditioned so much to hate ourselves. We have been our greatest critics. It's not what people are saying about us. It's what we're saying to ourselves. It is all the stuff that is happening. You internalize it and you made it personal. And now I know I felt this. I felt like I was supposed to punish myself. I wasn't supposed to be happy. I wasn't supposed to have joy. And a lot of people start talking about that joy and they start saying it, but when it really gets down to it, when you really start putting in the work and you really have to start looking at yourself in the mirror and you got to really start doing the evaluation of how you really feel about yourselves, that's where a lot of folk quit because they don't want to do that work. They don't want to see that truth and they don't want to put that effort in. So it's so much easier to go numb that pain. It's so much easier to get busy with work. It's so much less easy to throw yourself into a cause that you think is greater than yourself and hide behind it. The one thing that was very difficult about creating a relationship with myself is realize my body didn't lie. The nervous system does not lie. That vagus nerve is not going to lie. You can say that you're good, but that vagus nerve is going to let you know you're not. But I implore you, this is your superpower. God has given you an ability, has given you a gift with his body. And as you make friends with it, as you continue to do right by it, as you treat it well and treat yourself well, it's going to yield fruits. And I can't wait to see what some of those fruits are going to be. All right. Got a couple of announcements here. On October, let me hide this. Let me hide the banner here. Hold on a second. On October 31st and the 2nd, Ingenue Ellis, Mississippi owned, is going to be holding a gathering for Black women artists. Our group headed up with Candace and Esther. Esther is working diligently with them, with the media. I think Candace is helping with logistics. So they're helping, and they're having like a film festival. They're having all these great women artists. Cent, Cent Smith, Cynthia Smith. I'm saying her name wrong. This is the twin sister, Tasha Smith. They're identical twins, except one of them has shaved her head. She's going to be a part of this. I see our own funny girl, Rita Brent, will be there. Casey Lamans from East Bayou, the director, great director from East Bayou, and I think Sanaa Lathan, I don't know if she's going to be there in person, but she is definitely going to be zooming in. So it is absolutely a free event. So please come check it out. But you do have to register. You do have to register to see it. So come and definitely check it out. And it's October the 31st to November the 2nd. It's going to be at Tougaloo College. So please come through. This is how you create relationships. And definitely if you're an artist and if you're a filmmaker, this is something that you need to do. Also, I will be in Hattiesburg tomorrow night doing a screening of Soul Damage. I mean, it's been a long time since we screened it. It is with the Hattiesburg alumni chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Incorporated, Healing Through the Lens of Soul Damage. This is in recognition of World Mental Health Day. It's going to be this Thursday down at USM. It starts at 6 p.m. It would be in the Thad Cochran Center, Joe Paul Theater. So if any of you all are in the Hattiesburg area and or see this, come through. Come holler at your boy. I'd love to see you. We're going to have a panel discussion. There are going to be other folk on the panel. Miss Barbara Naylor, a mental health expert, Dolores Williams, a social worker, Picasso Nelson Sr., a pastor, and Robert Johnson, a pastor. So if you are in the area, definitely come through. So, hey, this is my time. I didn't see any questions in the comment section, but I hope this has helped you in some type of way because I'm telling you, this is the way. I cannot stress that enough that the first relationship that needs to heal is one with yourself because I was so desperately looking for other people to love me that I didn't realize the pain that I was feeling was the lack of love that I was refusing to give myself. But as I continue to grow and as I continue to develop, and understand this system more and more, the better my relationship. This is probably a greater way to show this. The more in love I get with me, the more in love the universe proves it to me every day. And when I tell you I live a dope life, I live a dope life. And it's not because I ain't got the type of money you think I got, but the type of favor that I have is unnatural. It's amazing. But it is incrementally growing as I continue to develop the relationships with myself. All right. So look, thank you all so much. Hope you got some tonight. We'll be back at our regular time next Thursday. And God bless. And remember, 1, 2, 3, manifest, identify what you're feeling, emotionally regulate, sit in those feelings, let those feelings cycle out, and then wait for the inspired action. And I was talking to someone today, and it's amazing to have them come and say, "Hey, I'm stuck on step 2, and I'm stuck on step 4," and I'm like, "Really? Step 3?" So it's amazing talking with folk, and they're saying, "Hey, this is what I'm having problems with." But someone was stuck with step 3. How do we know about the inspired action? And this is what I said: inspired actions is not something you think, because that's where a lot of us are. We're trying to think what the next thing you need to do. You know it's inspired action because you feel it in your body. Interoception. You'll feel it. You'll feel that relax and they say go. But when you're feeling yourself being tight and making a decision, don't push through that. If you're tight, it means you're not ready yet. You keep waiting, you keep regulating, and then when it relaxes and you have that little burst of energy, that's when you know you need to go. All right. So look, if you have any other questions, man, just hit me up. I try to answer the best I can. We're figuring this out. So like I said, God bless, and I will see you next week.